It wasn't a comet. It wasn't a flood, but it killed thousands of humans. 900,000 million years ago. In the cosmic story of life on Earth, humans are but a blip, a recent arrival on a planet that's seen countless species rise and fall. Yet here we are, 7 billion strong, spread across every continent. But it wasn't always this way. 900,000 years ago, our ancestors faced a crisis so severe that it nearly wiped us out. When we look at human fossils from around this time, we see something strange. It's as if our family tree was pruned, leaving only a few branches to grow. This is the story of the 0.9 Ma event, a mysterious catastrophe that pushed humanity to the brink of extinction. But how can we know what happened so long ago? And why does it matter to us today? To answer these questions, we need to journey back in time. 900,000 years ago, Earth was in the grip of the Pleistocene epoch, the Ice Age. Massive glaciers covered much of the northern hemisphere. Sea levels were lower, exposing land bridges between continents. And roaming this harsh landscape were our ancestors, not quite human as we know ourselves, but no longer apes. These weren't modern humans. We are talking about Homo erectus. Homo Heidelbergensis are evolutionary cousins. They had mastered fire, crafted stone tools, and were spreading across Africa, Asia, and Europe. But something was about to change. This is where our story really begins, with a mystery nearly a million years in the making. We see a massive disruption in the climate record at this time. Temperature plummeted. It was as if winter came and didn't leave for thousands of years. But what caused this dramatic shift? And how did it affect our ancestors? We think the population of early humans crashed hard. We might have been reduced to just a few thousand individuals worldwide. Imagine that, the entire human lineage, reduced to fewer people that you'd find in a small town. How close did we come to joining the long list of extinct species? It's a razor's edge. If the population gets too small, it becomes impossible to recover. We see it happen to other species all the time. Our cousins, the Neanderthals, wouldn't survive the harsh cycles of the Ice Age. But somehow, against all odds, our lineage did. This catastrophe might have been the forge that created us. The few who survived were likely the smartest, the most adaptable. They passed those traits on to us. The evidence for this ancient catastrophe is written in our genes, but it's only recently that we've developed the tools to read it. It's like finding a message in a bottle, but the bottle is our DNA and the message is nearly a million years old. This genetic evidence suggests a drastic reduction in our ancestral population, but it's controversial. Not all scientists agree in the interpretation. Some argue that the genetic evidence is ambiguous, that we're seeing the result of other evolutionary processes. To understand what really happened, we need to look beyond genetics. We need to examine the world our ancestors inhabited and how it changed. The ice cores tell us that 900,000 years ago, Earth's climate became extremely unstable. We see wild swings in temperature, rainfall patterns shifting dramatically. For our ancestors, this would have been apocalyptic. Food sources would have disappeared. Entire ecosystem collapsed. They would have faced starvation, new diseases, increased competition with other predators. It was adapt or die, and adapt they did. The humans emerged from this crucible were different, smarter, more resourceful, more like us. We see changes in brain size and structure around this time. It's as if this crisis jump-started human cognitive evolution. As we unravel this ancient mystery, we're forced to confront uncomfortable truths about our existence. How fragile is our dominion over the Earth? Could we face a similar crisis today? The climate changes we're seeing today are happening faster than anything in the geological record. We're in uncharted territory, but we're also a species forged by crisis, descendants of those who looked extinction in the face and survived. As we continue our journey through this pivotal moment in human history, we'll discover not just where we came from, but who we are, and perhaps what we might become. To understand the event that happened nearly a million years ago, we need to become detectives piecing together clues from multiple scientific disciplines. Every fossil we uncover is like a page from ancient story, but pages are scattered and many are missing. One of the most striking pieces of evidence of the 0.9 Ma event is what we don't find: sudden scarcity of human fossils from this period. It's as if our ancestors vanished from large part of the world. The few fossils we do find show signs of stress-poor nutrition and disease. But it's not just human remains that tells this story. The entire ecosystem was in upheaval. We see a mass extinction event among large mammals. Species that had thrived for millions of years suddenly disappeared. Yet amid this devastation, few species not only survived but thrived. Among them our ancestors. The humans emerged from this period showed remarkable adaptations, more complex tools, evidence of better hunting strategies, perhaps even the beginnings of symbolic thought. But to truly understand what happened, we need to look beyond bones and stones. We need to examine very air our ancestors breathed. Ice cores from Antarctica give us the window into the ancient atmosphere. And what we see at 0.9 Ma is shocking. The climate entered the period of extreme instability. Temperatures swung wildly, and with them, the entire global ecosystem. Imagine waking up one day to find your entire world transformed. Forests turned into tundra, grasslands to desert. That's what our ancestors faced, not once, but repeatedly over thousands of years. How did they survive? The answer lies in our DNA. We've identified several genes that show signs of strong, positive selection around this time. Genes involved in brain development, immune function, and metabolism. In other words, the crisis didn't just cull our ancestors, it changed them. Those who survived passed on traits that made them smarter, more resilient, and more adaptable. We see a rapid increase in brain size and complexity. It's as if the crisis accelerated our evolution. As we unravel the mystery of 0.9 Ma event, we're forced to confront unsettling questions about our own time. The changes we're seeing today are happening even faster than what our ancestors faced. We're running a dangerous experiment with our planet, but we're also the descendants of survivors, a species forged in crisis. It's what saved us before, and it's what might save us again. Our capacity for innovation, for adaptation, is our greatest strength. As we continue to explore this pivotal moment in our past, we'll discover not just where we came from, but who we are, and perhaps what we might become. But the story of the 0.9 Ma event is far from settled. New discoveries continue to challenge our understanding. A recently discovered fossil in Asia has thrown a wrench in our theories. It suggests a level of cognitive sophistication we didn't think existed so early. This fossil and others like it have sparked a fierce debate. In the scientific community, some see it as evidence that the bottleneck wasn't as severe as we thought. Others argue it proves just how quickly humans evolved in response to the crisis. The truth is, there's still much we don't know about this period in our history. But with each new discovery, each advance in technology, we get closer to understanding our origins. We're on the cusp of a revolution in paleoanthropology. New methods are allowing us to extract more information than ever from the fossils and artifacts we find. And perhaps the greatest breakthroughs will come not from what's buried in the ground, but what's hidden in our genes. The genetic signatures of ancient evolutionary events. It's like a time machine, allowing us to peer back into our species' past. We're developing new techniques to read. As we continue to unravel the mystery of the 0.9 Ma event, we're not just learning about our past, we're gaining insights that could be crucial for our future. Understanding how our ancestors survived past climate crises could help us to navigate the challenges we face today. And perhaps most importantly, it reminds us of the resilience and adaptability that are our birthright as humans. As the dust settled on the 0.9 Ma event, the world our ancestors inhabited was forever changed. But so were they. The humans who emerged from this crisis were different. They were more adaptable, more innovative, and arguably more.
There's evidence of more advanced hunting strategies, better food preservation techniques, These weren't just evolutionary changes, they were cultural ones. But perhaps the most profound changes were happening inside their heads. We see rapid changes in brain structure during this period, and social cognition expanded dramatically. Areas associated with language, planning, and then we start to see something truly remarkable: the earliest evidence of symbolic thought. Cave paintings, jewelry, ritual burials, the birth of human culture as we know it. But these changes came at a cost. The human population remained small for thousands of years after the event. This prolonged bottleneck had profound effects on human genetic diversity. In a way, we're all much more closely related than we might think. As the climate stabilized, our newly evolved ancestors began to spread out to Africa, populating the globe. They carried with them the genetic and the cultural adaptations, forged in the crucible of 0.9-meter event. These traits allowed them to thrive in a wide range of environments. But the legacy of 0.9-meter event isn't just a story of triumph. It's also a cautionary tale. Our ancestors survived by the skin of their teeth. We are now facing climate changes that are happening even faster than what they're experienced. Yet, we also inherit their resilience, their adaptability, their capacity for innovation. Understanding our past gives us tools to face our future. We're species that has started extinction in the face before and survived. As we reflect on the 0.9-meter event, we're left with profound questions about our nature as a species. Are we defined by our ability to survive crisis, or by our ability to create and innovate in their wake? Perhaps it's both. The story of human evolution is one of resilience in the face of adversity, and of remarkable creativity born from necessity. The 0.9-meter event nearly wiped us out, but it also made us who we are. The question now is what we will become. As we face the challenges of our time, climate change, resource depletion, biodiversity loss, we carry within us the legacy of those ancient survivors. Our capacity for cooperation, for problem solving, for imagining better futures. These are the gifts our ancestors left us. And perhaps, like them, we'll find that our greatest moments of innovation and growth come in response to our greatest challenges. The story of 0.9-meter event reminds us that human history is not a straight line of progress, but series of challenges overcome. As we face our own inflection point in history, we can draw strength from knowing that we are the descendants of survivors, innovators, and dreamers. Our future, like our past, is unwritten, but armed with the knowledge of where we've been, we can face that future with courage, creativity, and hope. If you could ask our ancient ancestors one question, what would it be?
Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel.